Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai, Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai, Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai, Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, yadadai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai.
On this Sabbath of Torah's laying out the laws for a just and equitable society, recognizing today, February 12th, President Lincoln's birthday, during these days when disunion feels very much front and center, we take his words to the New Jersey Senate in 1861 as an aspiration we might well share. I am exceedingly anxious that this union, the Constitution, and the liberties of the people shall be perpetuated in accordance with the original idea for which that struggle was made. And I shall be most happy indeed if I shall be a humble instrument in the hands of the Almighty, and of this, his almost chosen people, for perpetuating the object of this great struggle. Our involvement in the struggle is not for struggle's sake, not to further stoke the destructive flames of division, but to be an instrument against injustice, with humility of heart and hope beyond the horizon, sustaining the liberty upon which this land must truly rest.
Chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed yibana, yadadai. Olam chesed yibana, yadadai, yadadai.
It's so nice to welcome my friend, our colleague, the inimitable cantor Freda Mendelssohn, our cantor emerita, which does not mean formally meritorious. It means still singing up a storm. And it's so nice to see her smiling face on our bima. And as always, we need light. Boy, do we need light in this world. And so if you have candles at home, this is the moment to kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של Shabbat. We raise our glasses for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'achata ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim.
Our Kabbalah Shabbat section begins with L'chuna Ranana. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai. L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana, L'chuna Ranana l'Adonai. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, exalt our God, for God is holy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho. We welcome Shabbat with the singing of L'chadodi, words written by 16th century Kabbalist Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz. La 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 lecha dodi. La 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Ya la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shemo tiferet V'litila Ya la la lecha dodi Ya la likrat kala Ya la pnei Shabbat Pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor habracha Mirosh mikedem Nesucha Sof ma'aseh B'machshava techila Ya la la lecha dodi Ya la likrat kala Ya la pnei Shabbat Pnei Shabbat nekabela Itahoreri Kivarech Kumiori Uri Shidaberi Kevod Adonai Alayich nigla Ya la lecha dodi Ya la likrat kala Ya la pnei Shabbat Pnei Shabbat nekabela Boi v'shalom Ateret bala Gam b'simcha Uv'tzola Toch emunei Am segula Boi chala Ya la lecha dodi Ya la likrat kala Ya la pnei Shabbat Pnei Shabbat nekabela Ya la lecha dodi Ya la likrat kala Ya la pnei Shabbat Pnei Shabbat nekabela.
In the panoply of pronouncements, this Shabbat Mishpatim, statutes and decrees, comes a classic that underscores the meaning of this prayer moment. It might surprise you. If you see your enemy's ox gone astray, you must certainly return it to him. One commentator remarks, let not hate be the undoing of justice. If we're compelled to come to the aid of somebody who's our potential adversary, how much the more so should we be there for our friends, our family? We create community person by person, connection by connection, kindness by kindness through the care we share. Who needs tonight, think about it, that virtual hug most in your circle? Maybe to share a hope for the coming week or this year. Let love, the love you extend, be the promise that uplifts us all. We rise in stature or in spirit for our Baruch Hu.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Boreon valayla golelo mipnei choshech golelo mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into night. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In a world where estranging the other is often the order of the day, especially during this Black History Month we mark, hear Toni Morrison's words as both warning and life wisdom. Why should we want to know a stranger when it's easier to estrange another? Why should we want to close the distance when we can just close the gate? There are no strangers, she says. There are only versions of ourselves, most of which we wish to protect ourselves from. For the stranger is not foreign, she is random, not alien, but remembered. And it is the randomness of the encounter with our already known, although unacknowledged selves that summons the ripple of alarm. In the end, we deny her personhood, the dignified individuality we insist upon for ourselves to our own detriment. We reinforce our belief by constructing an other. Recognizing ourselves in that apparent other, seeing beyond the stranger to a reflection of who we are, forges the path through a swirling sea of injustice and indignity, empowering us to reach the shore that is liberty and freedom for all.
נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא. מלכותך רבנך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זליענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מהר חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Shema.
Israel.
Parker Palmer speaks of the spiritual solitude that marks this prayer moment. To be in solitude, he writes, means to claim my birthright of aliveness on its own terms. To be in solitude means to be in possession of my heart, my identity, my integrity. The healthy community is one that leaves the solitude, the integrity of each individual, intact. The only thing we have to bring the community is ourselves. So the contemplative process of recovering our true selves is ultimately the best gift we can give to others. Embrace this moment of spiritual solitude with the source of all being, knowing when you do, you are never truly alone.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru amen. Seder Kriyat HaTorah serves for the reading of Torah. Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahor. Ki cho b'shamayim u'va'aretz, Ki cho b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'hamitnaseh lechol rosh. Near the end of this week's portion, Mishpatim, we are inspired by Moses as he answers God's call to come up the mountain. Rabbi Serkman will share his thoughts in a few moments, but first join with me in chanting the Torah blessings. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach, Baruch Adonai hamavorach leolam vaed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, Alei Elai hahara v'hesham, v'etna lecha et luchot ha'even, v'hatorah v'hamitzvah, asher katavti lehoratam. Vayakom Moshe v'Yoshua misharto, Vaya'al Moshe el har Elohim, ve'al hazkenim amar shuvu lanu bazeh, ad asher nashuv aleichem, ve'hinei Aharon v'chur imachem, miba'al dvarim yigash aleichem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
What is the great danger in doing what many of us might nowadays, tuning in for hours on end to our preferred news source, especially during these impeachment to unimaginable, unprecedented times? Not to suggest that we need not be a witness to due process or justice served, nor to the appalling reverberations of that infamous January 6th. But getting caught up in the proceedings can drown out the essential eternal messages we are much more apt to miss if we do. Toward the end of this week's Torah, as Cantor Mendelssohn just so beautifully chanted, Moses ascends the mountain for take two, what I like to call the second giving. But God's instruction is more than telling for Moses and for us. Adonai said to Moses, as Cantor just chanted, "Come up to me on the mountain and wait there, and I'll give you the stone tablets with the teachings and the commandments which I've inscribed for you to teach." Sounds simple enough, unless you look at the Hebrew, where something more is implied. God says to Moses, "Alai Elai Hahara, come up to me on the mountain, Vehiyesham, and be there." The Kotzker Rebbe wonders, if Moses comes up the mountain, won't he already be there? Why would Torah, where no word is superfluous, add Vehiyesham and be there? From this apparent redundancy, says the Kotzker, we have proof that one who ascends a high peak, who is able to reach the summit, may nevertheless still not be there. In other words, you can make it to the mountaintop of life and leave yourself behind, leave your spirit somewhere else. To actually experience life's peak moments, we must be fully present in the moment. But spiritually speaking, there's even more that's being conveyed. Life's craziness, and we certainly have more than our share these days, has a way of distracting us, making it difficult for us to focus not only on whatever we happen to be doing at the moment, but more importantly, on the mountaintop revelation unfolding, of which we may be totally unaware because we are not able to be there. Rabbi Eliyahu Kitov frames the rabbi's teaching, asking, if Torah from Sinai, that revelation, never ceased, why can't we hear it? Because, he explains, the noise of this world drowns it all out. After all, what happened, says the Midrash, when Torah was given at Sinai? The world was hushed into a sacred silence as God's voice echoed, filling all creation. And most remarkable, that timeless, life-sustaining truth, the voice of revelation, can still be heard to this day, but only if we're able to be there. Rabbi Larry Kushner understands. In the language of modern-day sound technology, God switched on the Dolby noise reduction system. So at Sinai, we could hear the voice that had been there and continues to be here all along. God's transcendent truth, the guiding imperative at the heart of all purposeful living, still issues forth from the Holy One of Being. As Kushner concludes, holy entrances are everywhere, at unpredictable times and through unarranged encounters. Sinai is not a mountain, but a moment. So the secret, you don't have to go anywhere to hear it. What you must do, however, attuning your spirit to the almost silent sounds of life's little daily surprises and sweetness, is to appreciate that fully present in the moment, sacred truth is being broadcast here and now. And if you can drown out those distractions, even for a moment or two, if you can be there, the mountain will rise to meet you. And through you, revelation will yet again be renewed. So in this crazy world, for all of us, may it be. Amen. Our thoughts turn to hopes for healing, those in our own circle, so many in this world broken, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, physically. We share that hope. We hold on to it tight because with it, we lift one another up. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers before us bring strength to those who struggle against sickness, those who so long to be healed. We especially call to mind at this moment of prayer for healing, Phil Alderman, successful kidney transplant. Elizabeth, my heart and love goes out. Jane Brandis, Boris Brandis, my heart is well to you. David Goldstein, Stanley Tereski, Bob Glassman, Marty Feldner, Andy Rosenthal, Patricia Zapata, Avraham Yochanan Dov Lesser, Louis Siegel, Nate Moskowitz, Ari Fox, Keith Schoen, Barbara Peabody, Elizabeth Friedman, June Foreman, Paul Wiggins, Jody Kahn, Joseph Spinelli, Lawrence Cohen, Susie Wolfson, Antonia Nolita Chipola, Harriet Katz, Pat Ryan, Sam Phillip, my uncle Jerry Gallner, Norton Blumberg, Chelsea's grandpa, Terry Rossman, Julie Ross, Deb Margolin, Paul Stampleman, Scott Siegel, Greg Kellner, Daniel Foley, and George Siminoff. If there's somebody whose hope is in your heart, let their name be on your lips. Speak it now aloud. We share.
Avotenu mikol habracha imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikol habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen.
Shivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish, Chadish Yameinu, Chadish Yameinu, Kekedem.
On this, especially Lincoln's birthday, we understand Alenu's call. Alenu means it's on you and on me to make the world more just and right. We share in a hope. That's our pledge and promise.
Lateit gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo samchakinu kachem, v'dor aleinu kechamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Lincoln's words frame our moment of memory. Die when I may, I want it said of me by those who knew me best, that I always plucked a thistle and planted a flower, wherever I thought a flower would grow. Our death is not at all the end of us if, with our lives, we tended the seeds of learning and love, planting the truths of kindness and integrity through which our values would continue to grow, being harvested long after we're gone. So tonight, we remember those who've given to us, bequeathed to us a garden from which we are still gifted with nourishment, life, and love. The Yortsites this Shabbat of Bonnie Rodney, Mildred Edelman, Marjorie Irene Suchman, Barbara Rubenstein, Marie Miller, Minna Grill, Seymour Shapiro, Albert Morris Franklin, Saul Weprin, Jacqueline Cromer, Susan Greenfield, Emmanuel Vitale, Robin Dressen, Lawrence Cohen, Joe Blatt, Fred Hamburger, George Oken, Matthew Harnett, former administrator of our congregation, Ellen Gardner, Leonard Kaplan, Margot Barkham, Bernice Witten, Katie Rosenberg, William Sertelman, Minnie Miller, Oscar Levine, Irene Citron, Edith Borden, Jill Lipton, Edith Richmond, Jane Orans, Bert Gould, Carl Ehrlich, Rose Fine, Morris Atkins, Saul Chasen, Benjamin Geller, Joel Kupferberg, Martin Mannon, Frederick Brown, Samuel Wilner, Jenny Crumbine, Ethel Abrams, Ruben Moss, Lee Levitt, Emily Goodman, E. Finkelstein, Dr. Harriet Rabinowitz, and Harry Zuckerman. Along with those in your hearts, we remember 4 who've recently, within the past 30 days, really just this past couple of weeks, been laid to their eternal rest. Arlene Blumberg, mother of Faye and Joel, Grammy of Chelsea and Gabe, Peter and Michaela, and Ben, and great-grandmother of Sawyer. Herman Piven, husband of Marilyn, father of Jerry, Rachel, and Sarah, grandfather of Ben, Kimberly, and Sova. Rabbi Gary Teller, dear friend and mentor, childhood rabbi of Michelle Lewis. And just today, Jackie Braverman, mother of our member Wendy Kaufman, along with her sister Betsy, grandma of Robert, Max, Alex, Stephanie, and William. The memories of all of them are with us, along with those whose love still grows in our hearts. Remembering them with that love we share in words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam u'lomei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekucha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memory be our blessing. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rob Rothman, and I'm a vice president of the Larchmont Temple Board, and I'm delighted to be here tonight to virtually welcome everybody to Larchmont Temple and to welcome Shabbat into our homes together. It's especially wonderful to have Cantor Mendelson with us tonight. Thank you so much for being here with us. Just a few quick announcements. This is one of those rare weekends with no bar bat mitzvahs as we head into the holiday week, so it's a little bit of a quieter week. Though, of course, there is Chevra Torah tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Zoom, and the Shabbat morning minyan as well, 10:30. Zoom, of course. Rabbis Frankel and Serkman will have their regular class and study groups this week. Next weekend, there will be social justice film discussion. Details are on the web, of course. The big event coming up is the Purim Spiel and Purim services and Purim everything else just 2 weeks from tonight. A few quick highlights. There is going to be a Mishloach Manot gift exchange leading up to the holiday. The service, as I mentioned, Friday, February 26th. There will be a pre-Oneg via Zoom. There'll be, of course, the Spiel and even an after party for everybody to get together. I love this year's theme for the Spiel. I'm still standing. I can't think of a better theme. Music is compliments of Sir Elton John. Lyrics, compliments not of Bernie Taupin, but of the Larchmont Temple players. Check the website for all the details on this and lots of other events going on. And Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks, Rob. And I think you can dress up for Purim. I think we're fudging a little bit. I think I gotta check with Cantor, sure, but I think we may be doing Shushan Purim because we're making Purim Cantor Medicine on a Friday night. It may be Thursday on Friday, but we're extending the Simcha, and so I am not going to be wearing these kind of clothes for Purim. I'm going to be dressing up in something thematic. I have no idea what, but I'm sure that somebody on the senior staff will tell me.
So we're going to close our Shabbat service as we began with Olam Chesed Yivaneh. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, Yadadai, Dadai, Yadadai, Dadai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, Yadadai, Dadai, Yadadai, Dadai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, Yadadai, Dadai, Yadadai, Dadai. Olam Chesed Yivaneh, Yadadai, Dadai, Dadai, Dadai. I will build this world from love. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, Dadai, Dadai, Dadai. And you must build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, Dadai, Dadai, Dadai. And if we build this world from love, and if we build this world from love, yadadai, dadai, 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 then God will build this world from love. God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, yadadai, dadai.
From your mouth to God's ears, Cantor Mendelsohn. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.